Welcome to RBJC.com. This segment deals with what is called an emergency action plan. When you're involved in an athletic program, be it small league football, little league baseball, junior high football, high school, college, whatever, you should have some type of plan in place in the event of an emergency. Obviously, we want to deal with emergencies that deal with on the field, on the court, that involve an injury that's going to require more than just an ice pack and a nice ride home. Emergency action plans deal with a whole lot of people and how they handle a situation in an emergency setting. For example, you have a youngster on the field who goes down with a head injury and is laying motionless on the field. In your training and what you've done to prepare for that particular event can say a lot about your program. And as we talk about emergency action plans, you should always remember the people involved, the equipment needed to handle that particular situation. Have you practiced that situation? Who's responsible? Who activates EMS? Who guides them to the situation? Those are things we want to talk about. So let's take it in segments. Number one, emergency action plan should be an actual document that you have, that you've talked over, you've discussed, you've given out to the folks in your organization, perhaps the people that are on the sidelines, the people in the press box, the people at the gate, security officers, parents, so that way in the event of an emergency that requires more than just perhaps assisting the athlete to the sideline or to the sidelines on the court, that you actually have a plan that you can follow. For example, like who will be in charge of the situation? Number two, who's actually in charge of decisions being made on the field? Who will actually activate EMS? Who will be around to direct them? What gate will they come in? Who has keys to those locations? Do you assign a parent? Is it a coach? Is it a volunteer? Is it someone within the organization themselves? Number two, do you have documentation to record the event in the event that you provide some type of insurance for that youngster? I know that in the high school setting there's all kinds of forms, insurance policies, procedures to follow, and that's what we're trying to talk about when we include an emergency action plan. Number three, what is the immediate treatment for that situation? You know, what is done in the event that EMS is called? What's done in the meantime? Who's in charge of my situation? You always have someone in charge. You don't want someone running around upsetting parents, upsetting the injured athlete because they're trying to go here, trying to go there, stepping over the youngster on the field. You want it to look like you know what you've done. That's why when you focus on your emergency action plan, it is a guideline and a step of what you're doing. The next one, what to do is when EMS arrives on the scene, if the parent's there, do they transport with the child? Is there someone that's available to go with that child to the emergency room? Who makes contact with the parents in the event that they're not there? You know, is it cell phone? Is it a landline? These are all situations that you probably have to respond to beforehand. The worst thing to have is a catastrophic injury, a big injury where there's a lot of people on the field, everybody giving their opinion. That's why when you base your emergency action plan, you want to make sure it's very detailed as you can. You want to pretty much plan on every eventuality. You know, weather-related emergencies, be it hot or cold, what type of emergency that is happening at that particular time. Once EMS has been activated, they've come, they've done their thing. You know, who writes the report? Who follows up? You know, who keeps track of the situation afterwards, after the contest has ended? Is there a follow-up to the ER and a contact with the parents? So these are things that we feel are important that you should include in an emergency action plan. Obviously, you may have one already. You may want to look at it, maybe tweak a little bit based on some suggestions that we've offered here. But by all means, please come up with some kind of plan that's workable based on your situation, based on your athletic facility, and based on the number of volunteers that you have. Don't overload yourselves, but make sure that you try to cover as many of your bases as you can. On behalf of Rich and Bone Joint Clinic, we're here if you ever need us. Please always remember RBJC.com.